Gelang mari Muktini tiya ko chokha Muktini tiya ko chokha Ujungni mai shari shari Yarwng joy thangkha gelang mari Kunjukai khna dit maka mumbo kabai kele thangkha mukho khuta Yarwng buduk shajoi bo shafi kungo bawi bo mahimo lamakta chachu balang bai halami ari Yarwng joy thangkha gelang mari
Namaskar. When I look the history of Kokborok feature film, I find three major films. According to timetable, number 1 Longtorai, number 2 Mathia, and number 3 Yarwng. Here in Don Bosco Center, Nandanagar, Agartala, I have come to meet with Mr. Joseph Pulinthanath.
Namaskar.
So my first question, when I saw your film in theater, that means the Yarwng in 2008. So beginning of the film on screen test, there is something on screen test. Thanks to San Antonio de Padua.
Right.
So please tell about that.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you noticed that, and a very interesting question. In fact, I think it's the first time I'm talking about this. The very first frame of the film, which was thanks to San Antonio de Padua. No? Actually, it's San Antonio de Padua is the Italian version of Saint Anthony of Padua. Padua is a place in Italy. Saint Anthony of Padua. Saint Anthony is a very popular saint in the Catholic Church, a saint who is known for granting favors, helping. So it was our way of asking help from God through this Saint Anthony, for this venture, and everyone connected with this venture. That's all. There's nothing more than that.
And next question from you.
Okay, would you please tell us something about your childhood days? Growing up and then
I had a very ordinary childhood. I was born in Kerala, way back in a place called Kottayam. And I did my normal studies in the village school up to class 7, after which I shifted to a Don Bosco school and a hostel away from home, but in Kerala, where I did my high school, class 8, 9 and 10. And that's when also I switched on over to English medium. And after completing the Madhyamik, the class 10, of course, that used to be known as the SSLC, Secondary School Leaving Certificate. Then I came up to Northeast, and that was in the year 1980. Since 1980, I have been here in the Northeast, in different places in Northeast, undergoing formation, continuing my studies, and also doing some work in Tripura. That's about it.
You've done your masters also, no?
I've done my masters.
Where have you done your masters?
I've done masters in 2 subjects. One is English literature. I did it in Nehu. And then I did masters in theology. I did it in Shillong. But the university was from Rome, affiliated to that. But the classes were held in Shillong, in Molai. I was
Yeah, what prompted you to join this Catholic church?
Yeah, no. Yeah, that was a desire, a childhood desire of mine. I was attracted to this way of life, which we call religious life, whereby one dedicates his life to service. And it happened that I got to know the Don Bosco Society. And then I thought what Don Bosco Society was engaged in, the work they were doing was quite interesting, and I became a candidate, and they accepted me, and that's how I became. Of course, we in our faith, we believe that we don't opt to become a Don Bosco or a Holy Cross or a priest. It is not a choice we make, but it is a call that God gives, and we respond to that call. So it is not as if I wanted to become something and I became. No, rather it is like we responding to a call which God first gives. That is how we look at it.
How do you came to this cinema making? That means producing cinema.
Yeah. First of all, sir, I would like to right at the outset say I'm not a filmmaker, a professional filmmaker. That is not my profession. I have faced this question any number of times in some of the festivals I've been to, and I always make it a point to say that I don't consider myself a filmmaker or a film director as I am a Catholic priest, a Don Bosco priest, who finds cinema interesting, who finds cinema powerful, and therefore I also engage in it because I have seen the power of the visual image, the moving image, the film, and I also, in the course of my studies, had an opportunity to study the medium at a little depth. And in addition to that, I have always been interested in movies, in films. And whenever I got an opportunity to see them, I used to see them also, good movies. And I was fortunate to have seen some of the good movies and even studied some of the good movies of some of the masters and all that. All these things together created an interest in me in films. And that's how I got the interest. And I've been also, in a way, fortunate to go to some of the best places and attend some of the very good courses available to further your knowledge of the medium in Pune and all that.
So you did your some course from Pune?
I did 2 courses. Not the regular 4-year course which the institute there offers, but they have a very good course called the FA, Film Appreciation. It used to happen, I think, in the month of May every year. And it's a highly sought after course. It's a highly sought after course because people from outside India also come to attend that 1-month course, during which you get to see, not only just see, discuss, study, just about everything that's important in this field, starting world cinema. And I was fortunate because I happened to know a professor, one of the founding fathers of the Pune Film Institute, Professor Satish Bahadur, God rest his soul, is no more. I had done another course under him in Delhi, and Professor Satish Bahadur was on the faculty, and we had very extensive discussions because he was a specialist on Pothe Pachali and Satyajit Ray and all that. So I got an opportunity to study Pothe Pachali like a textbooks, going line by line, analyzing it under him. And even after the course was complete, we used to correspond about Pothe Pachali from here, and that time we didn't have, I don't think email and all had not come. It was just coming that time. But we did keep up this correspondence about, especially Pothe Pachali, And when this FA course came up, Professor Satish Bahadur told me, if you are interested, I can get you a seat here. And I was here. I said, yes, I'm interested. So he already reserved a seat for me. So when I reached Pune, I could see a big group waiting outside to get entry, including some foreigners. But I just walked in. I had a seat already reserved for me, thanks to Professor Satish Bahadur. That's how I got into that 1 month course. It was extremely useful course. That was one. Another study which we went to was a correspondence called Understanding Cinema, which was Professor Satish Bahadur was one of the faculty members. There were others also. So basically, these two courses generated some interest in this medium of film. And we also had a little bit of practicals and all that along with theory. Of course, it is held in Pune, so they have the access to the archives, National Film Archives, NFAI is there. And so we get to see with any film that we decide to see, they used to screen for us in the big archive, theatre archive hall, and a lot of films we saw. What I consider important and nice about that course is we get to see movies which are generally not screened and not available. Maybe today they are available in the YouTube or so, but at that time there was no possibility for us to see movies like Bicycle Thieves or, you know, even if we wanted to, but that course made it all possible. European films, you know, even Hollywood films, Indian films, classics. 1 month of really feasting on films we had, which was that's something which I was lucky to participate in.
Okay. So any film director who actually produced many films and then very renowned film director like Satyajit Ray or Ritik Ghatak.
Yes.
Was there any influence on?
Oh yes, influence. If I say influence on me, I have to say it's not only the films. A huge chunk of influence on me, I think, came from literature.
Okay.
So it was I would say it's a combination of literature, novels particularly, especially novels, because I am basically a student of literature and particularly novels, and that and the films, few films I saw, essentially both are about stories, novels, you know, story. One says the story using words, the other uses visuals, pictures. So it's both these. And if I were to pinpoint one or two influences on me in films, I would definitely put Bicycle Thieves.
Okay.
Victoria Jessica's Bicycle Thieves, which I saw also about a month ago, because I mean, we see it again and again, you know. And I know that even Satyajit Ray was influenced by Bicycle Thieves. We know that. No, he was very much the realism. It was Satyajit Ray also speaks about it, I think, in that book, Our Films, Their Films, where he says, you know, that it has had a profound impact on him, because he was working at, I think, Pother Pachali at that time, when he went to London and saw Bicycle Thieves. Yeah, that's one film. I also make it a point to screen for others. Why I enjoyed this and Pother Pachali? It is because I had an opportunity to study these films line by line, scene by scene, analyze it like we would do a text. In addition to that, during English course, we also did Vibhuti Bhisham Mandapaday's Pother Pachali as a textbook. It's one of our textbooks. So, you know, both these, the novel on the one hand and the film on the other hand, both, I mean, it is really an influence. The story of Appu and Durga and Harihar Ray and Sarbojaya and everything that happens to them. And then also the trilogy. Trilogy, though I have not studied much the second word is that Apur Sansar, Aparajito and the Apur Sansar, but Pother Pachali, yes, I have. And even now, visuals, certain scenes, certain pictures are so much in my memory of both these films.
Yeah,
you know?
there are some striking,
very striking
pictures.
And these things got into the films we made. Surely it did. actually did, because my memory is also, I don't know what it is called, but see, like this, I may see a film, I may read a book. After some time, I tend to forget the story, the plot, but I will remember certain scenes, certain pictures, certain images. They remain with me. I might have forgotten the story of the film, the plot, but certain images remain with me forever. And I have so many images of the films which I have seen. Not only of these two films I mentioned, even other films that have very much influenced also the films which we made. No, both these films. Then even literature. I mean, coming to Mathia or even Yarwng, especially Mathia, there are so many books that did influence me. Hardy's novels, for example, the women characters of Hardy's heroines, Tess of the D'Urbervilles, or Bathsheba. These people, Hardy, Victorian novelists in general, actually. Hardy, even Jane Austen's characters. As a storyteller, even Conrad, to some extent. These people have very much a part of my life, and they consciously or unconsciously, they have another, of course, not Victorian, I think, with the French Lieutenant's Woman, John Fowles, a book that very much influenced the main character, Sarah Woodruff, the character of that woman is very much the Kormati of Yarwng or Kachingdi of Mathia. They are a combination of these characters I mentioned. They are that. And also the Malayalam film Chemmin, Ramu Kariyar's the first national award Malayalam film, I think 1965. Chemmin, which is also a classic, like Potepachali, it influenced me a lot. I had seen this. So these are some of the things that were at the back of my mind while we were going about making this film, getting ready for the film, making the story and all. And looking back, I find there is another aspect of literature that did help me a lot in preparing the script. The shooting script, the storyboard, and all the structure, the method of storytelling. Because we had done Virginia Woolf, The Stream of Consciousness, and we had done Greek tragedy, Aeschylus, and the other Euripides and Sophocles, Oedipus Rex. The Greek finesse of the Greek tragedy of these masters, which later on, the chorus of the Greek tragedy, which went into Shakespeare as soliloquies of Hamlet and Macbeth and all. These things were very much in my mind when we were doing the scripting of, especially the Mathia, because I was very much fresh at that time with all these things, So, structure-wise, methodology-wise, Mathia might be a less celebrated film, a less known film, a less exciting film because also of it's a very, very slow pace, which was intentional also, by the way. I intentionally kept it slow paced for other reasons. But structurally, Mathia is, I feel, a much better structured film than the second film, Yarwng, though that became more popular and it got more awards and all that. But because Mathia has a stronger structure, it has many aspects which can be studied and analyzed in that. So, well, this much about it, about the making of these Tripura films. I can speak more at length.
harla haksan kayru zagi bubat babra shakı utay makra sakı hadla dukala kayru kılıy bubat babra shagla kumu Anjada kalibo kanja kumo Brila chikla kazaki tingu Babarbo mutang kumo Anjada Hadula dukala kayru kulu Matai bazari gala kumu Rairo tungpai kuma zada Sarana yaklu Yapa musangay Matai ba munay kuma zada Tama barikum basi yang bu yang ma pamlai punai ma huba huba te kani bising bu basi yang bu anjato.
Then what is the storyline of Mathia?
Mathia is about the storyline, the plot is about a woman who is considered as a sakal, a witch, daini. You know? I was only about 6 to 7 years in Tripura when we began work Mathia. And I had come to know that the custom, this superstitious practice of witch hunting was prevalent in Tripura at that time. And I was told, as per official records of the government, there were even 22 or 23 cases, officially registered cases that had happened in 2 years. 22, 23 young women who were put to death, got rid of because they were considered to be witches. And I, for one, I said this is a superstitious practice, a social evil that we must fight against, that we must expose. And the theme of Mathia, we took this up. And then wove around it a love story, a love interest. And that's how the story of Mathia came about. And I think we more or less got it right, because later when we were screening this film in different places, in the villages in Tripura, one or two places, you know, especially one place I remember where while the screening was going on, a woman, a young girl in fact, she started crying, you know, crying loud, wailing, and we all thought, what happened to her suddenly, you know. And then she was telling us that my own sister was killed last year, like this, and she is seeing her sister on the screen, you know, wrongly accused and killed this way, and it was difficult to console her even. So such a couple of instances of that sort made us realize that is probably this was a useful subject to engage in. Yeah, I mean, socially useful thing, which helps the society. And I only hope, I think, at present, it has come down considerably. And, you know, I also got to learn a lot about this strange phenomenon, this superstitious practice. I realized, you know, and we have shown it also in the film, and that is, even the very family people turn against you. Even your close relatives, they turn against you. They don't support you. They don't stand by you once it has gone into their head. She is a daini, she is a sakal. they turn against you, and their only intention is how to get rid of you. There's nobody who stands by you, somebody on whom you can rely on for help. Nobody. And almost always, these are the helpless cases, vulnerable women who are either widows, who are poor, who have nobody to support, who have no money to buy, cosmetics required to put oil in the hair and all that. So even the very appearance looks, shabby and all, tousled hair, and also appearance suggests
that
she's a witch. And, it just, once the word gets around that this person is a witch, it spreads like wildfire and everybody begins to believe. For example,
What is the main cause, I think, in the society, this witch exists? Is anybody telling she is a witch?
See, I'll tell you, and it's not my imagination, actual fact. One case, one person told me about somebody else who was considered, which is like this. There was somebody sick in the village, seriously sick in the village, and the person was almost at the point of death, seriously. So naturally the villagers go to see that person. They go visit and come away and all that. It so happened that one lady went also, like the others, to visit that person, and then she left. It so happened that after she left, after a few hours, a couple of hours, the person died. And then the villagers started associating. You see, she went to visit him and he died. So she must have caused his death. They forget that he was already anyway a serious person at the point of death. But because she was the last one to visit him, and therefore she must have cast some spell on that person, and therefore she must be got rid of. Such things come. We have also given shelter to cases. At least one person I know, a woman who could not stay in the village. I won't say the name of the village and all that, but a woman who was considered a witch, and they were planning to get rid of her, to kill her. The two young daughters of that woman came to us here, telling, "Father, can you help? My mother would be killed any day. Please help us. We cannot stay in the village. Where do we go? We have no place to go." And we made arrangements in Agartala, in a place where they were looking after such people. We explained to them the predicament of this woman, and that woman was kept there, and she stayed there for some months. Afterwards, I lost touch with them, but at least she escaped being killed by that. So the subject of Sakal or witch hunting existed. It was a prevalent subject. It was a contemporary subject. We created a love story around this thing, and that is how the story of Mathia was born.
The thing is that who were your actresses? Somebody from the village, or some professional, some actors who are practically they are doing here.
Yeah. We took actors, ordinary people.
Okay.
Ordinary people. We didn't go really for the best known actors, professionals. In any case, there weren't too many of them in Tripura at that time. Today probably there are more, but at that time there weren't too many professional artists. But we looked for ordinary people who are able to act a little bit. Ordinary people. When I say ordinary people, that's a word I like very much. Again, literature is the one that has given me a love for what is ordinary. I am naturally suspicious of what is extraordinary, what is heroic, what is big, what is flashy, what is I look at it little suspiciously. But the grandeur, the majesty, the dignity of the ordinary man, and I have intentionally brought ordinary people and their ordinariness into both these films, and tried to say, look at the dignity, the majesty, the beauty, the honesty of the ordinary person. And most of us, we are ordinary people. We are not heroes and kings. We are ordinary people, but we have our own dignity, our own power, everything. A book like The Grapes of Wrath, John Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath. There's a character they call the Rose of Sharon. Rose of Sharon. A book like that, teaches you what an ordinary person is, the dignity, capability of the ordinary. So in these films too, we have consciously, brought the ordinary person into the frame. So all the artists were ordinary people, and looking back at it, something very interesting, because Mathia came in the year 2002 actually, though it became the celluloid version was there in Goa for 2005, IFI, but actually the video version came in 2002. See, at that time in Kokborok film scenario, there was Langmani Haduk. Then there were the earlier films, Longtrai and earlier films were there. But the last Kokborok film was Langmani Haduk of Ruhi Burma. After that, there was a gap with no films. No films. And then it was Mathia that came at 2002. But after Mathia was released films, you find a spate of films, a number of Kokborok films coming into the scenario, one after the other, a number of them coming. And therefore, I don't think it is wrong to conclude that Mathia, in a way, made the people understand that even people like you and me, it's not only the Shah Rukh Khan and Amitabh Bachchan and those people, but the man who is cooking their food, that girl who helps in our kitchen.
Mathia inspires a lot.
Yeah, so they can also be on the screen, and they can also convey strong messages through film. So it is borne out by the fact that many Kokborok films came, number of films, whatever their quality, all of them may not be of the same stature, quality, but a lot of people, ordinary people, took up to filmmaking in Kokborok language. And in that way, I also feel happy that, Mathia has acted as a motivating film. Come on, this is something possible, something not only the Mumbai people or the Bollywood people can indulge in, but we also can try our hand at. And I think it happened, ordinary people. Everything about Mathia's people were ordinary people. They had no real experience of acting movies. Some of them did have stage. So for example,
Even Jayanto
Jamatia and Meena,
there are no popular face.
but they were stage actors. They were both Jayanto Jamatia, Meena the Burma, and also one or two other, Amar Ratan Jamatia, and 2-3 others. They were already quite well-known stage artists. Stage artists, they were acting in stage. So I also saw them acting on stage and picked them up. But there were also majority of them who had not seen ever a camera.
What hardship you faced to make this film, Mathia, especially Mathia?
The hardships, of course, the normal ones that we had already anticipated, because infrastructure-wise, there was nothing much, and the story demanded that we go into interior, because we didn't have the money to create elaborate sets. So we had to go into actual on-location shooting with sync sound. And so it needed, we had to go into interior areas to shoot. And the first location we went was a very deep interior. And that was actually a place called Chamba Valley, the Barmara Hills. We went there and with a big team, it was with a crew of over about 60 people. 60 people with no road, through the river, putting on 7 or 8 bullock carts, putting all these equipments onto the bullock carts, and through the river, wading through the river, we reached that village. And
I think there is no electricity.
No, absolutely no electricity. There was no generator.
It's I think that 22 years ago, just from
Yeah, exactly. Because 2001 we did the shooting. 2001.
How many days you shooted?
No, what actually happened is like this. We went there and we did shooting for. There were actually crew members from Calcutta and from Guwahati. Lightmen and all light team was from Guwahati. We reached there, the village. We did shoot for 3 or 4 days, and then it began to rain. Rain and pour, non-stop rain. And the river, it's a village on a river, and the water level kept coming up. And so there was no possibility for us to come away because water level was high. And the provisions, the rice and the food item we had carried, it was almost finished, empty. The villagers gave us whatever they had, but we are a big group, about 60 people.
60 people.
So it's a big group. The villagers, whatever they had, they would give us. Then every day, going to bed, sleeping in those houses, praying that the next day will be a good weather. Next day when we get up, thunder, dark, again rain. So this went on. After a few days, one early morning, we got up, we said, nothing doing, whatever happens, we are going back. We have to escape from this place because no food. So morning itself, still dark sky, we started back. We started back through the river, neck deep water, and the bullocks going through the river, walking, and we reached Chambaknagar at midnight. Midnight that day, we reached, walking through the river. We reached back, we reached Chambaknagar, we stayed the night there at pastoral center. The next morning we came to Mariamnagar. I was at Mariamnagar. We sat together, all of us, and we called off the shoot. We said, first phase. We called off the shoot. The Calcutta team went back, Guwahati team went back, all the artists dispersed, and we had shot only for 3 or 4 days. Then, in fact, the artists and all were in tears because they had hoped to finish and we couldn't. We called up and we said, we shall not give up. When it is possible, we will regroup and we will do the film, we said. And we did that, I think, in the month of September or so. After about 3 or 4 months, we came back again. Of course, we did not go to that village. We did not go to that. Instead, we went to Norangpara, that is near the Bormura. The ONGC has that near there. The Norangpara is a Rupani village, and nearby places, Kamting and nearby places, Salkapara. Now it's a Salkapara. And at that time, that was a time when that new village was just beginning to start. Today it's I think it's called Salkapara. We did the rest of the shoot there. Mostly the same people. But in the meantime, I must also say that, one of our light boys, Baimon from Guwahati, passed away.
During shooting?
Not during shooting. In that intermittent period, he contracted malaria, and he died in Guwahati. Which is why in Mathia film, you will find at the end we have put a frame, especially thanking and remembering Baimon, who was one of our light boys who lost his life. After he had joined us, he couldn't come back because he lost it. Instead, can you imagine when we regrouped, Baimon's brother came in his place. I was so much touched by that. Baimon had passed away. His own brother came to substitute him to complete the shoot of Mathia.
Were the team actually the professional one, or then again?
The crew was professional. The artists were not professional.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
And I must say one more thing here. See, I found that using artists with no much experience was an asset. It was not a liability at all. It was not a liability. Many ask, how do you manage to make them act? Because they have no previous experience in acting. I did not give them any much directions. I did not tell them to act also. I told them, this is the story, you do it. And they were living it out. They were living it, they were not acting. There was nobody who was acting it, but they did it. And so, can see both in Mathia and Yarwng a rawness, a raw aspect. They're just living their normal life. I can narrate one very interesting incident of Mathia, where there is a scene of a mother crying over the dead body of her child. She cries in the traditional way of crying, no? And so we call this woman and we made a dummy of the child. We put it here and I told her, this is, you have to cry, this is a child who is dead. So you are the mother, you cry over that in your own words. And we rolled the camera and we said, okay. And she began to cry so well, no, crying. And then, perfect. So we said, okay, stop. No, it's okay. And we put the camera off. But this woman continued to cry, carry on. Then I thought, I know it's finished now, it's okay, the shoot is over. She was continuing to cry. Then I told some of our ladies to go and tell her it's okay. No. Then they went and told her, so it's finished now, don't cry. Then she's telling, I was crying for 3 of my children who died like this. I was thinking of them, of those 3 children, and I was crying for them. I didn't, not acting at all. She was crying for her 3 children who had passed away that way. I mean, so those footages and all, they are so precious because they are real slices of life that has come into the picture and remain. No?
I could remember one scene from Pather Patali. There was the old lady. She was also crying.
Yes.
And then when she was asked to stop, she could not stop actually.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. There is.
That
PC of Pather Patali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which format you shot this film, Mathia?
It was DV.
Mini DV?
Mathia was shot in mini DV. Yes, Mathia was shot in mini. Then right after that, reverse telecine into.
And what was the budget of the film?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Both the budget, Mathia, I think we spent about 13 to 13 lakhs at that time. Yeah, there is a huge amount. And Yarwng we spent about 27 lakhs.
Yarwng not blow up in.
Yes, it was blown up. We did in Ramoji Film City, Hyderabad. Yeah. The first one was.
You backed something in audience from audience.
Money.
That means
returns. Returns, well, not from the audience, nothing. We got some money from when it got award. From the government we got, I think. There's a national award carries, I think 2 lakhs or 2 or something like that. Then from the state government Tripura, 1 lakh we got. I remember that was, I think, Mathia. I forget which Mathia or 1 lakh we got.
At that time, Anil Sharkar was the minister, probably. No?
Anil Babu was the culture ministry. Yeah.
This time there are so many OTT platforms. Is anybody contact with you?
At that time, yes. At that time, from Beverly Hills in Hollywood, a gentleman, I have the correspondence with him. He called me. I asked him for distribution rights of the film there in America. Then also from Delhi, there is a certain person to whom we gave also all the internet online rights for a certain period of time. That time of both these films they have taken.
Kisah macam sin aro phaikang hingke sengawang yasang na nang yada.
Yarwng was the second film. Now, when we go to do a second film, its own pressures are there, especially after the first film, which was considered a success by that time standard, because I honestly never thought when we made Mathia that it would get entry into Indian panorama. I never thought that it would get an award in Poland, that it would become known. I did not think. So when it got a selection into Indian panorama and it was screened in IFI in Goa in the Indian panorama section and all that, it was more than what we expected and some name. And after that, you are launching into a second film. Naturally, our feeling desire is that it must be at least as good as the first film, if not better. We all want to do better, but at least the first film had come to this level. This film also, somehow we must make it to the same level. That kind of pressure and fear was natural. Anxiety was there. It was there. Okay. And the story of Yarwng, the displacement of Dumbur displacement. Actually, that also has a story behind it. How that subject got that. Yeah, that is because I had once been to that area near Gandachara in a village in connection with one of our church programs. We have a church there in Gandachara, so they had invited for some village program, and I went. And after the church program, we were all invited to a family for our meals, lunch, khana. And we were about 7-8 of us. A small house. We went there and we sat on the ground and we are trying to have our food. And then the lady of the house, the mother of the house, they were feeling bad that, they don't have better facilities, no chairs and tables to give us. We had to sit on the ground and have food and all. They were feeling very bad. And this lady of the house came and told me, "Father, we were not like this once upon a time. We had much better house, much better facilities." And then I asked, "What happened then? What happened?" And then she told me about the Dumbur displacement. They were living in Raima Valley in another village, and they had to, because of this, they were displaced. Then others also told me the story, and that was the first time I was hearing about this displacement, And I had myself experienced firsthand a family who are looking back at the earlier times when they were better off. Now they are in this situation. And then I also, I began to study and ask about these things. And then I realized this is a big story. Yes. This is a big story that needs to be told to the world. That there are people who have been uprooted and they
never compensation. They never got any compensation.
Compensation not done, and it is as if it is a forgotten chapter. No one is worried about them.
Even no records.
No
How
records.
many people are displaced?
Yeah.
It's very pathetic. So we know about the hydro project. There is electricity, but
Yes. Even the hydro project does not produce anymore as much as it promised to.
Yes.
Subir Vomik has written about it. Subir Vomik has written about the need to decommission the dam actually. But we also did some studies in this regard and contacted persons who have got some records about compensation and all that. Compensation, some people got some compensation, but provided they had the papers. They were asking for the documents. But
their film also.
Yes, it is there. It is there.
Yes.
It is there. But what happened is most of the people didn't have any document. What paper they have at that time. At that time. So they didn't get any compensation either. And one more thing I must tell you. See, every shot, every scene of Yarwng, the script, the story, every incident, none of it is made up by us. It is not imagination. Every one of those incidents, things which we heard from the people themselves. Once we decided to do this story, we as a small team, we went around touring those villages, staying in the village, We walked from one house to another house to village. We walked around, stayed for about 14, 15 days in that villages, listening to the people, just asking them. Evenings, because during the day they are not there. Evenings we sit with them and just talk. The elderly people, the father of the house, the grandfather, the grandmother, say, Nana, how was it, Dadu, tell us about that time. And then they would start saying, think about those times and what happened, and and invariably after some time they would break down. Tears, their voice would choke because they are remembering at that time they were much younger. And different stories, different incidents. Oh, what happened, and we were taking notes. Some of these things, some of these incidents, we are taking notes. Later on, all these things we brought and made it into a story, put it some sequence, chronological sequence, and we made a story out of it. So I can very confidently say that the story or the incidents that are seen in Yarwng, no one can point a finger and say you are simply making up things. No, nothing is. It is all what the people who were victims of this, they have told us. In fact, the scene of the elephant coming to destroy the house.
How arranged?
Yeah. We had heard about it, so I said, okay, we will try to do this scene because it is visually quite attractive. But then it was too difficult. It was too difficult to get the elephant come from another village and all that. Then I had given up that. We said, no elephant, forget about it. Okay. Then we did the shooting of that in a village. Then the women who had come to watch the shooting, they were talking among themselves. I overheard them say, no, if you really want it is not like this, it is elephant. They were all talking about elephant, mayung. When I heard this, I understood this elephant thing is so much in their psyche, in their mind, because they are talking about elephant. So elephant is so much in their mind. Then I said, whatever happens, we will bring the elephant. Then we made contacts and a village called Boalkali. It is beyond Rashibari. So we contacted the person, and through the help of the elephant came. But of course we took that scene in that village, Boalkali, in the village, and there we arranged a house which was there, a shonlock, this grass house, thatched roof house, and that was there, And one more thing I must say is, after the elephant scene was done, we wanted to give them some help, some money, some remuneration, but they were unwilling to take. Then I said, no, nothing doing, because to get an elephant for a shoot in Mumbai or in a Hindi film, you have to pay through the nose, So we forcefully gave them some, but very modest amount. There's more than that. So people have also contributed their share in whatever ways they can.
They want to share their feelings.
Their feelings. So, yeah, that was how we got the elephant. Of course, but elephant caused us also a lot of problems because animal. So we had to get the clearance from the Animal Board of India in Chennai. So that certificate took some time. Yeah, because unless the certificate came, we couldn't submit it for the censorship, and all these things were there. That cost us. Yeah, animal clearance, and for that you need the veterinary doctor's certificate before the shoot, after the shoot, and all that. And when you go for certificate, they cause problems saying, why didn't you get the certificate before you did the shooting? We actually did the shoot and then went for certificate, and so.
I think the animal sacrifice in the religion, I am not controversial this matter, but when I shooted with animals in film, there are so many.
So many problems are there.
Animal sacrifice, hard work होते हैं.
Yeah, it is very, very problematic. Yeah.
ठीक है, let's.
And that scene, that of course it's quite an impactful scene when you see it on the visual. No, it is quite it works. The elephant scene. So I'm glad that we took the trouble to
There is a
include the
mind-blowing
elephant.
scene I watched when the hero watching his house
Submerged, getting submerged in water. No?
very beautiful. His expression,
Yeah,
how natural.
yeah. In fact,
For this film, you have some professional artists also. For this
artists, no,
problem.
no.
all are
Ordinary people who had, as I said, the main characters had some exposure. Like, the main characters, Meena the Burma, Jayento in the first film, Nirmal in the second film, Amularat and Mathia. The main characters had some experience, were they? But the vast majority, no, they were all.
As you research, how many people were displaced in that place?
Actually, I had the data. I have those data.
Something 10,000 or 15,000 and above.
It's around that. It's around that.
They are all
I believe
scattered.
they have scattered. And in fact, I have an interview with an elder, Jip Korta Molsam. Jip Korta Molsam was young at that time. Now there is a village called Jip Korta Molsam village after him. So we took an interview of him where he narrates what happened to them. No, how some people went to Assam, some people went to Mizoram, some people climbed up the hills, and many don't know where they went. They lost touch. Even the family broke up, and different things happened.
From which community they are? Something Yarwng, yeah.
There are different communities. There are Jamatiyas, there are Riyangs, there's some Mosoms, Tripura, even some Burma. Yeah, these are the communities in Muslim.
Yeah, I think so. This is a heart touch story.
It's a story because I remember this movie
Nobody.
in Australia, in Brisbane. I was also there. At the Brisbane Film Festival, Yarwng was screened, and after the screening, they called me up to the stage for a little interaction. Then I went, and then people asked questions about this. I remember one Australian gentleman, hefty big chap, getting up and telling me, asking a question, and he couldn't continue. He choked by emotions. He said, I know, I can imagine the plight of these people. I was so much touched by what he saw on the screen, and people of another language, another culture, another continent, touched by.
Maybe he's of the Aboriginal group.
No, he was not. He was a white. And in Brisbane, this film was screened in two places. One was in Brisbane, what is called the Brisbane BIFF, Brisbane International Film Festival in Queensland. In the same city, on another side, there was a festival called Colorize, where the Aboriginal festival was taking place. So the person who was conducting the Aboriginal festival also took this film and asked me also to come over. It was screened there also. There also we had a good discussion with the Aboriginals of Australia. Yeah. See, generally, film directors and all say, my first film, my next film and all. No? That is something which I don't dare to do to Mathia or Yarwng. I don't even dare to call them my films. I have not done that. I always say our films, because I don't dare to call them my films, because I know they are more the films of the community, of the people who are seen in the frame than my films. They are, and I'm not saying it, as a kind of imagery or symbolic way of saying, but in reality is that. Let me give you one example. When Mathia shooting was going on, a few days of shooting was completed, and then we had two gentlemen who were cooking for us, cooking rice and meal, you know, when the shooting is going on, they are cooking, busy cooking. And they were also artists. I had given them also minor roles, you know. One day when I came to check if meal and all is ready, they called me, Father, we want to ask you something. I said, yes, what happened? We heard that you are going to call off this shoot. You're going to stop the shoot because of lack of money. He said, I said, no, why? No, we heard that others were saying that this will not be able to complete this film because not enough money. So are you going to stop this one? I said, no, I never thought of that. Though money is a problem, we will continue. We will somehow or other, we will finish this up. I told them. They were, oh, that is good. Then they told me one thing. In case, Father, in case you are not able to complete, you are thinking of calling off, both of us here, we have discussed, we are ready to sell our land and give you the money. We are both ready to sell our land and we will give you the money, but don't stop this film. We have to finish it.
Their film.
So after such things, I don't dare to call this my film. It is their film. In every respect, it is their film. It is their story. It is that. And so
There is the same similar story, I think, Champanegal's film, produced by common farmers.
that is this Mamo. Or the one about Mandan. Yes, the milk. Yeah. Champanegal. Where this? Yeah, Mandan is another beautiful film of Champanegal.
Oh, yes, the film connected the people.
Yes. I had also chance to interact with Champanegal, and yes, in the films.
Your experience?
Oh yes, we talked. We have met and talked. It was in Goa. Yeah, pictures. This is another opportunity I got because this film went into numerous festivals. Okay, numerous, especially Yarwng. Yarwng has been screened in over 40 international film festivals all across the world. You know, though in Tripura, Mathia is the more popular film, but outside Tripura, it is Yarwng. Because it got a national award. It was the opening film at the Panorama. Opening film at the Panorama, which is the second film from Northeast. The one was in 91, I think, an Assamese film. After that, first time a Northeastern film got the opening slot at the national Indian Panorama was Yarwng. And Ananda Sharma at that time, the Minister for Information Broadcasting, he was the one, and I remember he was saying this Kokborok, what is this? This is the second time a Kokborok film is coming to the Indian Panorama. He couldn't even pronounce the Kokborok word properly, and he said, where is this? And so the Kokborok and Tripura, we Kokborok speaking community got a certain exposure in that, and other festivals, numerous festivals it has been to. I mean, can we imagine this film was screened the same location, the same hall, Museum of Modern Art, where on I think 3rd of May 1955, Satyajit Ray's Pote Pachali was screened for the first time outside in America. New York, MoMA, Yarwng was screened there. And the New York Times carried a story. Of course, it is a festival called the New India, where about 16 Indian films were picked up and screened in that program, and one was Yarwng. And in the New York Times coverage, they put a still of Yarwng as the main picture. Then it is in the net, it is in the internet in 2009. So for a Kokborok film to get that kind of exposure, it is certainly great. And it was all many major festivals in there in New York, Moscow Film Festival, it was screened. In Stuttgart in Germany, it was screened. In Australia, it was screened. Then quite a few, of course, Bangladesh, Nepal, Kathmandu Film Festival, and numerous times. Practically every major city of India, it was in Kerala alone. This film must have been screened more than 10 locations, 10 festivals in Kerala. In Delhi, at least about 8 to 9 habitats, and in Siri Fort Auditorium, in the Northeast type of festival. So many festivals, this had become a part. In Mumbai, in the Asian, there's a festival called Third Eye Asian Film Festival, where we got a special jury mention, the bronze this film got, along with an Israeli film. This. In Chennai, there is the Women Film Festival, where both the films, so it just got a lot of entry to many festivals, because of which many people came to know about this our film, about Kokborok, about Tripura. And also I was also fortunate, I was not present in all the festivals, only a few of them. Of course, foreign festivals we can go only if they invite. We cannot spend our money and go, no. So I got chance only where they invited, I went. Like Taiwan, I went to Brisbane, I went, yeah. Then Bangladesh, I went, Dhaka.
In your whole, as a film career, who is your favorite director? Film director?
Film director, if I were to say, I like it is not as if I'm so fond of him, but I have found the films of a Hungarian film director, István Szabó, Budapest Tales, or Julia, all about Julia, Budapest Tales. His films I like. He has a very unique style of filmmaking, realistic, little political, at the same time very realistically portraying human beings as they are. And I have to say, Potapachali Satidara is realism. No, I mean the realism.
And the mainstream Bollywood, Hollywood film?
I am not able to say, because I have not paid too much attention to the mainstream Bollywood that way. No, just because I have not time. I have not time for it, and not. Hollywood, of course, some films I keep. That also not recently. Earlier films, where like Richard Gere's films, like drama, human drama. There are films like not Endless Love, but Taxi Driver of. I like him. I like the director. Taxi Driver, I like. Martin Scorsese. There is also the other film, Godfather, I think. Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola. Coppola's films I like. Then Stanley Kubrick's films are okay. But my favorite ones are none of these. I have, of course, I don't want to say the classics like these. Vittorio De Sica or the Italian ones, but the Hollywood there are. I am where Tom, one is the director. Of course, Tarantino for his queer kind of films. Again, Quentin Tarantino is not my favorite. Okay, but his films are very exceptional. Okay, but Martin Scorsese, yes. Spielberg, I don't like. No, I don't like Spielberg. I am very choosy when it comes to liked all the films. There are quite a few films about the Nazi, about the concentration camp. Quite a few films. I make it a point to see almost all of them. They are not Hollywood films, but very powerful, strong films. Schindler's List definitely yes. The other film very similar. Quite a few of them. I have those movies with me. I have them with me. Very powerful story. I see them.
Bollywood film star?
I don't know. I mean, I like all of them, but I'm.
And others?
Okay, they're of another generation, and I honestly don't keep in touch with the present day Hollywood. I have neither the inclination nor the time for it. Honestly speaking, no, it's okay. I am more interested in regional films. I try to keep in, but Hollywood not so much really. Though I had an opportunity to meet all these people, I was also happened to be in the jury once or twice. So I met some of these people. But okay.
Any plan to make a new movie or?
Really, there's no plan that way. It's not as if okay, I'm getting ready a movie, not like. But at the same time, I don't want to say that there will be no movie. God willing, if then. Could be also. I leave everything open that way. Tripura needs, though, more films, good film. There are good films unmade yet in Tripura. There are so many good stories, so much of possibilities here in Tripura. One of the reasons why this film thing came to my mind was also because I could see characters walking around, in Tripura in my pre-Mathia days, because this Tripura itself was a new place for me when I first came to Tripura. And I was coming from, as I said, a very a background filled with literature, thoughts and stories and characters and all that. I could almost see characters, walking around in real life, incidents, stories. All that was needed was to get them onto a celluloid, onto a screen, actually, So there are so much such stories, possibilities here in Tripura. It is not just the beauty of the location or the scenery, natural settings, or the beauty of the people, their naturality, the situations, but so much of wealth, beauty, and heroism that can be told, that needs to be told here in Tripura, which is not happening, which must happen, I feel.
What do you think about the future of Kokborok film industry in Tripura?
Yeah, I think Kokborok film is going ahead, surely.
Advise the new generation?
No advice, no advice to the new generation. Yeah, of course. You see, Kokborok film, like every film for that matter, we always go in progression. Kokborok film has already had its ups and downs, but when we look at it as a whole, surely it is on an upward trend, and we have every reason to hope that good films will come in future, because there's a lot of talent. Technology has become much easier now. The world has opened up. Today we have access to anything, anywhere with internet. It's not like anymore. We have the possibility of seeing the best in the world, and everything is becoming better, becoming easier. When I say everything is becoming better, that needs to be qualified, because there's also the danger of getting lost in what is flashy, what is easy, what is commercially viable. If we take that route, then the quality of films will have to take a beating.
What I see actually about, or what my knowledge is about the recent movies in Tripura, I feel that they are much more commercial. You see, the film like Yarwng or Mathia is a rare, species in Tripura film history. But then nowadays films are coming up. The camera is very fine. The lights and other things are very good. And then locations are also good. Then the story
Exactly.
is
Sir, actually, someone asked me to write something about it, and the only point I wrote was precisely what you said now. Okay, I can repeat that, and I need to, I think, because it's such an important point that you have raised, that today, to make your frame so stylistic and attractive, it's not very difficult. It's not difficult given the kind of technology we have. We have access to the technology, the camera, there's all those gadgets which help us to produce. It is easy. Therefore, the danger is also to be carried away by that.
Yes.
To be carried away by that, what it looks, beautiful, attractive, such beauty, such color, such technique, and all that. Earlier, we only used to get those in Tamil films, maybe, but today we can get it also here. But at the same time, we forget. It is dangerous to forget that these things alone don't make a good film. A good film needs to have a soul. A good film needs to relate to your heart, the heart of the viewer. What if an Australian person were overcome with emotion seeing a Kokborok film? It is certainly not because of the camera angle or the script or the acting. All of it got their role in it. I'm not denying it, but it is because the hearts.
Yeah,
They could, they could relate to it, because we are all human beings. Emotions are the same. Human experience is universal, and if that doesn't come into our films, then our films will look good, but it will not have a soul, and it will not move the viewer. That is the most, and that cannot be made up. Unless we have a heart and we approach it with a heart, it will not happen. We cannot cheat the audience. We can never cheat the audience pretending to put a soul in it. We cannot. The sensibilities, the human sensibilities of love, of compassion, of fellow feeling, that has to come into the, and we need to. It is a tragedy that if one were not to pay attention to that and only indulge in camera pyrotechnics, it would be a tragedy. And that probably is the serious realization that we need to make in the Kokborok film sector. And given the possibilities, we still have reason to hope that good, solid films will come in Kokborok, because there are people who are capable of doing it. There are people who are competent to do it, both technically as well as artistically. So I am optimistic about it. Nevertheless, this caveat, this warning, or this, well, I don't want to say warning, but this observation, I would like to register here.
There is a film.
And one more thing, sir, if I were to interrupt you. See, you made a point about commercial concerns. It's a history of art proves that all artists, Mozart and all artists, they died in penury, in poverty. Because once you are taken up, once you are passionate about art, whatever the art, you have no time, no money, no inclination, no interest in to be looking at your checkbook and your balance sheet. No, because you are so much taken up by the art, by that form. But if our eyes are primarily on the returns, then art will go to the backside. That danger is always a universal danger. It's applicable to everybody, actually. That also we need to keep in mind.
So there is a film institute here now. So have you gone there, or did you get any invitation?
I have gone to that place before the film institute began. After the film institute began there in Kalaketra, in Nazrul, Kalaketra, I have not visited that place. I have.
Didn't invite you also to deliver lectures or like
I don't see any reason why they should invite me.
Why not?
No, not that. No.
Your two films made you.
Well, that's okay. That's no reason that an institute should invite me. Yeah, but it is a good thing that we have an institute in our very city.
I think some editing course.
Well, we do in our institute. That is more a skill training where editing is taught. Yeah.
Film related.
Film related, yes. Film editing, and VFX. It's a regular course, but a short-term course. See, it is directed at young people who are unemployed, who want to pick up a skill, and those who are have some talent in this kind, they come and pick up that. That is the objective behind this.
Stream? Only film, yeah. So many others.
It is right now. It is video editing, VFX, sound, and what's that? One more thing. These four areas we have.
Thank you, Father, for giving us this time, and then we are really enriched by your experiences, and we came to know about your two films and how you made these films. So all these, and then how you related your emotion with those people who are actually affected by this place and other things. So it's really a wonderful experience for us also, and I think that it will be a good experience for the viewers also when it will be screened or when it will be shown in the YouTube. And when my last question, after 2008 to 2024, no film for me. Why?
One reason is now there are films, there are filmmakers. Okay, so I said, okay, Kokborok films are being made. It's a good thing. And I've really speaking, I don't have the luxury to devote myself to film, which, you go into making of a film. It is almost a 24/7 kind of thing. You need to be fully into it. The assignment that I'm given doesn't permit me to do that, because there are many other work, which commitments and assignments given to me, which I need to attend. I just cannot shelve them all and go after a film right now. That's one of the reasons. Second reason, as I said, problems are. But if tomorrow, if situations come and it is that another film needs to be made or gets made, well and good. Why not? I'm not against it, or I'm not saying that there will never again be a film on that. It's not just that I'm not trying to make one film after the other. I also would like to express my sincere words of appreciation and thanks to both of you, sir there and Sanjib Babu there, both of you. First of all, for this venture, this very interesting project that you have taken up, Sanjib Da, of documenting this, all these things. And I have seen these interviews that you have done, and very time-consuming, slow interview, a different thing, a unique thing, and which is very valuable. No, I think it's. No, I think whether it is professional or not doesn't matter much. But I think it's a very good job that you are doing for posterity. For posterity, it is doing. Let me also add one more thing. I have given a now interview about 2 Kokborok films for almost an hour, maybe more. But I also want to say that none of this has happened with me as an individual alone. None of this is my achievement of an individual called Father PJ. No, it has always been a team effort, teamwork. I am very much aware that I am operating in a language that's not my mother tongue. I know a little bit of Kokborok, but that doesn't give me the confidence I need to make a film in the Kokborok. So the role played by the local people, Kokborok speakers particularly, in the making of this film has been so huge that this interview will not be complete if that were not to be mentioned. Yes. Because at every stage of the making of this film, the contribution of the Kokborok speaking people, and there are a few of them who have contributed so much, even more than me. I'm saying, though I was as the leadership position, but the contribution of the others were more than what I have contributed even. So those things, their names are not mentioned here, but there have been a few of them. I am not mentioning any names because I will leave out some others, but there are a few of them. I want to acknowledge their contribution, and if the film has got some recognition today, it is very much thanks to their contribution, their generous contribution, and most of it done not for any remuneration, as voluntarily. Thank you.
Thankful to you for this great information. খুব ভালো লাগলো।
আমার পক্ষ থেকে আমি আপনাকে খুব ধন্যবাদ, আপনার দুইজনকে আমিও খুব ভালো লাগছে।
Let me take one photo. I appreciate for your great work, and I want more film from your team as a leader. We want watch your film next.
Thank you so much for my part. Thank you, sir.